All right, everybody, it's high noon. High noon, welcome to LA2M, and thanks for coming. My name is Derek Merriman, CEO of Ingenex Digital Marketing.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
And, sorry, I'm just distracted by all the exciting things happening in this room. Exciting.
It's the weather.
Yeah, and I'm up here with Stacy Collick from Dollar Bill, your local digital print shop. Stacy does wonderful work. And this is LA2M, we're a marketing education 501c3 nonprofit group. That's a mouthful. Is anyone your first time? Anyone first timers? Okay. Welcome. Welcome all first timers. Our speakers are first timer. Okay, great. So we meet every Wednesday, and you come here, you can learn about great topics about marketing. And we have a great website. All of our talks are filmed and archived on the website. So if you want to learn about anything, go check out our archives. Everything's tagged based on topic, and you can go watch the videos, which is a good way to learn some tricks. Stacy is the LA2M treasurer, and she's up here. We pass the hat. So this is how we support ourselves, is by passing the hat. So you're welcome to throw a couple bucks in the basket. That'd be great. That helps cover our dues. If you do want lunch, lunch is $10. That goes to Conor O'Neill's. But you don't even need to eat. You can just come here and sit. And we do have a T-shirt, which we like to give to our speaker. Speaker, you want to come down here? Let's just make this T-shirt handoff real quick to Bill. You guys can get a quick picture. But LA2M is supported by sponsors. So this T-shirt. This T-shirt was sponsored by Bank of Arbor.
Okay, you have to wear that to work tomorrow.
T-shirt was sponsored by Bank of Arbor. That's our bank. They bought all the T-shirts, so thanks Bank of Arbor. And we usually have a monthly sponsor every month, which is great. So monthly sponsors are $250. And what happens is you get 4 newsletters that go out with your logo and information about your company. And then you get to also talk at the program. We don't have a May sponsor. Isn't that shocking? Yeah. So I don't know if anybody wants to be a May sponsor. Sometimes people in the room want to sponsor. It's $250, and they get you the 4 emails, which starts next week. But then if you wanted to, you could say a few words today. Anybody want to sponsor? Anybody feeling rich? Okay. All right, that's okay. It's okay. We don't always, it's tough to get sponsors these days. It's tough, and actually, our sponsor backed up. What's up, Roger?
Is it after 5 Wednesdays this one?
5 Wednesdays? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But anyways, so enough for me. Like us on Facebook, follow us on LinkedIn. Does anyone have any big announcement to make? Anybody have a big event that we need to know about?
There are 5 Wednesdays in May, so they get
Okay, there are 5 Wednesdays in May. There are 5 Wednesdays in May. So, anyways, if you do want to sponsor, $250.
We'll talk about a big event.
Oh!
Yeah. It's Mobile Day's coming.
Oh, there you go. Why don't you announce that real quick?
Alright. So everybody's here and everybody likes mobile apps and mobile development, right? Supports Michigan developers. Okay, so Moby Dev Day is coming up, which is a Detroit conference for software developers. It's got Android, iOS, all sorts of mobile stuff. Microsoft is going to be there with office hours. They're going to have bot car races. So that'll be fun, and like delicious lunch among other cool things. So it's May 4th, this Saturday. It's at Kobo. I don't know how much tickets are off the top of my head, but if you go to mobydev.com,
just go to our $100. It's not $199.
There you go. It's not bad.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. Today is also, I don't know if everybody cares about this, but it's the 7th anniversary for Ingenex. That's my company. So today is 7 years ago today. We put a stake in the ground. And it's also May Day. Yeah, this Saturday I'm going to be at Taylor Swift. I don't know if I'm going to go to Moby Dev Day, but I probably should. I'd probably do both. They're right down the street. Maybe Taylor will be at Moby Dev Day. Wouldn't that be cool? Any Taylor Swift fans? Okay, thank you. I'm taking my daughters, right? It's not just me.
Yeah. He likes it too.
I do like Taylor Swift. But, so anyways, today we have Bill Wagner from SRT Solutions. Bill's going to be talking about mobile, speaking of mobile apps. And let's give Bill a big round of applause. He's not going to be demonstrating, he's going to be talking. So give him a big round of applause. Welcome him.
All right, so I'll start with why I'm not presenting, which has a lot to do with the kinds of topics that I will be discussing. So the projector here, Conor O'Neill, highest resolution is 800 by 600. I don't have a machine old enough to do that anymore. Now that has to do with why we want to talk about mobile apps and mobile marketing. As marketing professionals, you need to reach your customers where they are. And I'm sure if you're here, you've heard the statistics and talked about how consumers are moving to the mobile web. There are more mobile devices connected to the internet than there are PCs, Macs, or other laptop and desktop devices. Because we work occasionally in large enterprises, I will tell you what most of those are. Those are people who work in large companies where Facebook is blocked, so they're checking Facebook on their phone all day long. Okay. But be that as it may, your customers are on mobile devices. You're going to have to meet them there. So the things I'm going to talk about are the 5 biggest mistakes I see companies make when they're trying to do something mobile, and how that leads to different opportunities that you can exploit. So the first one is not having any plan at all. I've actually had a prospective customer come up to us and go, we need an app. Okay? What do you need an app to do? My boss says we need an app. How much would it cost to have an app? Well, it kind of depends on what it does. And that app is guaranteed to fail right now unless they do some more homework, because right now that app has absolutely no goals, no vision, no idea what it's going to do. So when companies we work with do something to try to attract mobile customers, there are 2 main goals that I've seen really help an app succeed, especially from a marketing perspective. We run other apps that are more utility, but from a marketing perspective, there are 2 goals that I've seen really help people succeed. The first one is, I want to have a mobile presence and increase market share. So I am going to build an app or build a mobile presence that helps me attract new customers. And the second one is, I want to build an app or a mobile presence that creates a deeper, richer relationship between my company, my brand, and the consumers that I already have. So examples of a couple of those things. One of the premier apps right now in a lot of the marketplaces is the Amazon app. It makes it very easy to shop at Amazon. It makes it the first click people go to. They're attracting more customers with that because it's easier to click the icon for the Amazon app than it is to go to the web browser, start the web browser, and go to Amazon. A real good other example that probably a lot of people in here are familiar with is the ESPN Score Center app. That builds an incredibly rich and deep experience with people who already like sports. It pushes scores at you. My phone may ding at some point in here because something might happen in the Tigers game. And I'll look, I guarantee it, I will look. But it constantly pushes those things out. But that's not the only thing they've done. They've added now fantasy baseball leagues, fantasy hockey leagues, fantasy football leagues, all run through the ESPN properties. They ran the largest bracket tournament during NCAA basketball tournament. That's another rich experience that they're trying to get so that for people who care about sports, they will click that icon at least once a day, probably more. It's a super, super rich experience in that. So that's the first thing we look for if we're going to do something mobile and if we're going to try to make it really make it succeed. Is we have to have a plan, we have to have a set of goals. Those are the 2 that we've seen that are some of the most common. All of you are much more experienced in marketing than I am, and I'm sure you can come up with others. The first one is you have to have a plan, you have to have a set of goals. The next almost default failure that I've seen from a lot of companies that creates a great opportunity for others to exploit is they don't have a plan. They just go, the status quo is good enough. We have a web presence. That's good enough for us. So as an example right now, if you want to look at something, if you want to pop open your smartphone and go to freak.com, the Detroit Free Press website, or Detroit News, they're both very, very similar looking sites. Both of those sites have a very, very poor mobile presence. They're websites, you can look at them, but it's pretty hard to read anything or even see the headlines. Okay? Now, the free press has addressed that a little bit by having an app, but they still have a very bad mobile web experience. So if I get an email, or if I get somebody pinging me on Twitter or something with some news item that I want to read, and I'm looking at it on my phone, and it takes me directly to their website, that's a very poor experience. So understand that we have different form factors on our screens now, and a one-size-fits-all website is not going to work. It's designed. Your web presence is probably designed for a reasonable sized desktop experience. It's not designed for a phone. It's not designed for a tablet. And you're also having problems now seeing things going the other way. A standard website right now, depending on how it's put together, does not look good on a Retina display map. The assets aren't high resolution enough to give you a very, very poor experience. So, if this is your front door, if this is where people are trying to reach you, one of the things that you need to invest in is to make that front door look great on anything that people are walking through with it. So understand that the status quo is not enough. If you want to look modern, if you want to look ready, if you want to look like you're in tune with where your market is going, you need to look good on all those different devices. The third thing that introduces a lot of great opportunities for companies that want to move fast is just do nothing. Figure you have a great relationship with your customers, and that should be enough. The example I'm going to give right there is in our region, Delta's definitely the major air carrier. So like most of you, most of my flights are on Delta. But you know what I use to search for flights now? I'm always on Kayak, because they have an app. It's easier for me to search, it's easier for me to find what I want, and it's easier for me to book my flights through that. Now that is because Delta doesn't have an app. I would have to go to their site, sign in, enter all this nonsense, then start searching for flights through a web browser. And if I'm on my phone, it's not a particularly pleasant experience. So what Delta has done by not producing a better experience for me is they have given another competitor and another set of competitors the chance to get my business. Instead of going to Delta, logging in immediately, and looking for a flight on the carrier I will probably end up with, I go to Kayak, I search for things, and now I'm seeing the deals from all their competitors. So they've lost an opportunity to continue to build that deeper relationship, to continue to make that my default choice, and continue to move forward in that same area all the way along. And that's one of those ROI things to really work with if you're trying to understand the investment of why do you want this application. Okay? So now I've looked at 3 different things that people don't do very well and how that hurts. You don't have a plan, you just don't have anything going on, you don't have a good presence, it's not going to be conducive. Somebody else will, and they will take your business. Realize that your customers are on mobile devices, your prospective customers are on mobile devices. If that experience was unprofessional, somebody else is going to take that from you. But that's their first stop now. All right? When people are looking for restaurants, their first stop is probably Yelp or Urban Spoon or something like that. So if you don't have that kind of a presence, if you don't have that kind of experience, you're giving your competitors a chance to reach your customers first. And then the third one is by doing nothing, you are absolutely giving your current customers the chance and the reason to go shop elsewhere. So when we look at that now, all right, so now let's decide, yes, I definitely want to do something. I need a presence here in this mobile space, so now I'm going to do it. The next 3 things are things that I've seen people who are putting an app together generally totally fail and totally don't put together and don't understand why they want to do this. So, if you're going to do something in the mobile space, you have to invest in findability. You have to look at what platforms matter for you and your customers. So, if you're going to invest in a mobile website, that's basically your SEO. You need to understand what are your current customers searching for, what are prospective customers searching for, and how do you get in those results. And then to get more stickiness, your website should detect when somebody is on a mobile device where you have an app and should immediately give them the option of downloading the app for your properties. Okay? So, and all of the app stores provide a way to do this. In that if you can, in the Windows 8 store, there's a tag you can add on your website, where if you go to a site that has an app, it will tell you, you can click on the icon, it will immediately take you to the store and immediately take you to the link for that app. That's how I found Kayak, actually. iTunes will do the same thing. You can have a link, deep link right to your app in the store. Same thing with Google Play. And your website should be able to detect what device somebody is coming from. You should be able to provide the right link for them and say, you know, now that you found us, we can give you that deeper, richer relationship if you want to install our app. You can take it right there. Okay? So you want to take and leverage that opportunity that somebody found you, they looked for you, they may be spending a little time. Now go ahead and install that application. If you've already trying to reach existing customers and you think maybe they're searching for you in the store, understand in the store what keywords, what section, and what ways they should find you. One advantage of some of the stores, they talk about, you know, if you go to the iTunes store, there's 50,000 plus applications in there. Okay, the good news is, if you're the person buying an iPhone, you got a lot of apps to choose from. The bad news is, if you're the person making an app, you're one of 50,000 or more, and growing every day. So you need to do something so that the people you're trying to reach can find your apps in your store. Okay? That means trying to do some research to figure out, even from your current website, what do people search for when they find you? Okay? What should they be searching for when they find you? And make sure those are the same things that are in the stores. Similar ideas apply. You can also get similar analytics once you're in the store on how do people find this app. Okay? So once you have an app, pay attention to the analytics that you get from the store in terms of how many downloads am I getting? The people that downloaded my app, how did they find it? How many views did I get? The people that did not download my app, what were they searching for? And invest in the keywords of the people who are actually grabbing your app to make sure that that's in there. It's not me. So, and then the big kicker on it is once you invest in an app and you're trying to do something in the mobile space, really invest in the experience. And there are a lot of examples here that I found where people in companies sometimes don't do that. And then they do try to fix it when they realize what's going on. So, the Facebook app on a lot of platforms has taken a lot of heat over the past 6 months. So what they did from a technical standpoint is they were trying to save a fair amount of money on development costs. So effectively what they did is the Facebook app launches a web browser or web view and displays Facebook for mobile on the phone. Now for a variety of technical reasons, that gave users a very poor experience. It ate battery life very badly. It was slow. It was generally unresponsive. And it used a lot of network bandwidth because the Facebook website will constantly go and update as new things come in and you feed. So that was happening on people's phones. People were really disgusted with a lot of that behavior. You know, I ran Facebook and now my battery only lasts for 2 hours. And I can't make a call, which is still the killer app on a phone is to make a call. So what Facebook ended up doing is they reinvested and rebuilt every single one of those apps from scratch using different native technologies for each one of those devices to optimize that experience so that their users, when they're in that app, get a pleasant experience and want to stay there. Okay? So sometimes it's a technical reason. I already talked a little bit about the ESPN app. I do love that app. I spend more time there than a lot of them. because it has a lot of things that I really want. So for me, that's a great app that provides a great experience. Angry Birds as a property does a great deal of very smart things to be very, very sticky. You know, Angry Birds is no longer Angry Birds. There's Angry Birds Star Wars. There's Angry Birds in Space. There's Angry Birds whatever my son's playing this week. You know, there are so many different properties and it's always new. That increases that stickiness. Okay? So there's a few things that as marketers we should learn from if we're going to go into this realm and if we're going to dive into the idea of being on a mobile space. Does anyone here have any experience with video games? Either playing, developing them? Anybody do any video game development ever? As a script writer or anything? A little bit. Script writer?
Script writer, modeling, coding.
Okay, cool. All right, and so one of the persons who plays video games. Everybody, really? Okay, all right. So video game theory has a few very interesting concepts that should apply to your mobile app, although in a slightly different way. There are two terms that video gamers use. It's called boredom quit and rage quit. And you really want to get in the middle of those two to make interesting things happen with your mobile experience, especially if you're trying to get a deeper relationship with your customers. Okay? Listen to kids when they play games. And games they may play for a little while, and then they'll stop. That's boredom quit. That means it doesn't replay enough. It doesn't have replay value. It's too much to say. Right? Now, sometimes this is age appropriate for games. You know, games for elementary school children that are teaching them reading and things like that are very repetitive. That's how you can tell if you have kids playing games when they stop those. That means they're ready to move on. But the games are designed to be very repetitive because children in the 5 to 7 or 5 to 8 range like very repetitive things. That's how they learn. They're repeating these things over and over. So a repetitive game for them has a lot of repeat value. As you get older, not so much. So if you open an app every day and it's the same stuff, it always looks the same, it's never fresh, that's boredom quit. What your customers will do then is stop visiting it. One day they'll get to the point where they need space on their machine or their device. They'll uninstall the app. And once they've uninstalled it, they won't come back. And you'll have to really do a lot of refresh and a lot of work to get customers to come back once they've uninstalled an app. Think of your own experience here on things you've taken off your phones or taken off your tablets. The other side of that coin is rage quit, which is more at the teen level games and adult games. Once you get to the point where something is so frustrating that you can't make any progress, people quit. Right? Because it's just not fun anymore. And on that side, if your app does so many new different crazy things and it's always different, and there's no familiarity to it, people quit. Right? Or if it's just annoying, people quit. It's always doing something that you don't really like. So, things that we work with customers on is the gamification of IT is interesting and fun and enjoyable. And if you can actually make it that on your app, you can build a very, very strong relationship with customers. Right? So things that we've done sometimes in training programs is in self-guided training, you can earn badges for just about everything you do. It's a little small thing. It's a little competition with people who visit the properties. You know, they've gotten new badges, they've started to contribute, they start to do things. They see progress. But it's still in line with what the app is trying to do, which is teach somebody new programming techniques. Right? It shouldn't be just silly. There are other apps that I've seen with some very, very bad reviews of. Is Progressive did an app that they've since taken down that had a lot of games in the mobile flow, and the general reviews were really annoying, and nothing good came from them. So they didn't get their goal of trying to get a deeper and richer relationship with customers. Instead, they ended up just annoying them. So think of how to make an app engaging, how to make it fun, how to make it lively, but how to do it in a way that meets those original goals of having a richer experience with your customers. Okay. Once you move out of the website space, where our websites will occasionally call brochureware, right? It's our brochure on the web so people can find us and learn about us. So it's primarily static. might have some news, might have some updates. When you move into the app space, you want somebody to want to visit that app on a regular basis and spend time with you as a brand. So start by thinking about why should they do that? What do they get by spending time with you as a brand on a regular basis? And then give them that and make sure they know that it's coming on a regular basis. Maybe you have new ideas to discuss every week. Maybe you have new projects for them every week. Maybe you have new reasons for them to communicate with you on a weekly or monthly basis. But you have to make sure that they have a reason to go click that app and visit you and spend time with you. So those are the big things that we really talk about and we really work with when we're putting a mobile app together. And if you notice, I didn't really talk too much about platforms, because that's a very interesting and constantly changing problem. And it really varies based on the market. You will see different stats on different places. You will see different opportunities in different areas. In general, what we tell our customers on that is that iOS is definitely the big player. The most dominant player right now is iPhone and iPad. The one that is growing the absolute fastest is going to be the Google Play Store, the Droid devices. That is showing the greatest growth. Apple, if you've been reading recently, has not been growing much. And it may be they're between releases. It may be something having to do with changes in management. But Apple's growth is certainly slow. The other interesting one, depending on your market, is the Windows Store for Windows Phone and Windows 8. And the reason for that is there are fewer apps there right now. So you have a better chance of being first if that reaches your market. So there are different advantages to all three of them, different disadvantages to all three of them, and it does definitely depend on exactly who you're trying to reach and what their goals are and what they're trying to do. So that's a lot of the main things that I really wanted to talk about from the main set of topics. So anybody who has any questions about mobile strategy as it relates to marketing, as it relates to having a presence for your brand, I'll certainly try to do my best. I am not a marketer, I am a tech guy though, so yes.
Big Bill, thanks. A couple of questions actually. One, talking about timing, because I think a lot of people try to rush an app or take too long to develop an app, trying to make it perfect.
Right.
Sometimes so if you talk maybe just on that, is what's appropriate depending on what the functionality is, I'm sure.
Right.
And then the second part is open source. I read recently, went to seminars, Ford Motor Company, NASA are releasing open source platforms of their apps, asking for outside people to develop and use it.
Right.
And I think that is something that a lot of companies probably or developers need to look at as well. And I'd like to comment on that.
Okay, so two different comments. First is, when do you release and how often? This is one of the big things that is really changing as you move to mobile, and especially mobile on the web. You can release transparently fairly quickly. Okay. So there are a few different things that we look for and that we try to do when we're helping a customer get an app out in the marketplace. The first one is we want to release as quickly as possible because that's how we learn things. Okay? Now, if you have gone through the app certification process on any of the stores, if you have a lot of blank placeholders in your app, chances are you'll get rejected because the people curating the apps will go, this isn't complete, we're not going to release it to the store. Okay? So we do want to build a very high quality first release that does the right things and has some functionality in it. And we will also try to put in some kind of analytics on an app to go, what are people spending time doing? Okay? And then we try to have a very quick release cycle and continue to update that app. Because one of the very nice features of all the app stores is if I put release 1.0 out in the field and if I make an update, all the users who have installed it immediately know that I have an update. And they're told by Apple or Microsoft or Google that there's an update, and they're asked to go ahead and install it. Okay. That's one way to help with stickiness as well. So if I can get my apps on we're going to release something new, quarterly, monthly, whatever, that's a really good thing. It puts it back in the mind of the people trying to use it. Okay. Now I don't want those to be bug fixes, I want those to have some new stuff in it as well. right? So we definitely try to get out with the minimum thing that we think will have some stickiness, and then continue to add to it as we get any feedback on it, and continue to make it better, and try to be upgrading it as often as we can probably stand and not really annoy users, right? So we try to do that. Now the open source one, open source is a fantastic thing to leverage on whether it's mobile development, cloud development, whatever. And what we do with customers when we're leveraging open source is we really look for a number of factors around an open source library as to whether or not we're going to use it. Okay. The first one, we look at the license. Okay. There are licenses that are very friendly to commercial development, primarily the Apache license, the MIT license. Those are the two that are most common. There are other licenses that are very unfriendly to commercial development, primarily the new GPL license. Depending on what we're building and what the goals are, that's one thing we evaluate very carefully. Okay? I will also say that we very rarely use an open source library where somebody wrote their own license, because there's just not enough history behind it. And there are some crazy people that do that. We look for indemnification on a library. So this happened in Motorola a while back, where one of the libraries that they had used that was open source, that they put on all of their phones, contained stolen IP from some developer who took code from Word and put it into that library. And Motorola had to pay, I think it was $1.50 for every phone that had that library on it. Motorola sold a lot of phones, so that was a very, very painful mistake. Open source projects are often curated under very, very large organizations that provide indemnification against that sort of thing. The Apache Foundation is one, the Outer Curve Foundation is another. Those are the two big ones. So we often look for if the license and if the organization surrounding it has that kind of indemnification. Okay? That is also a good safety net for including something in ORAC. Then we look at things like, is this really an active library? Does it still have people contributing to it? Or is it a zombie library that's just out there? You know, and I would imagine Ford and some of these other companies are going to continue contributing to their libraries, continue to get people to use it. You know, but you will find some open source libraries if you go just searching around GitHub or SourceForge or anything that haven't been updated in a year and a half or 2 years. And you know, those are ones you're taking a risk on. If I look at something that's been updated pretty regularly and continues to have a release schedule that keeps going on, then I feel much more safer grabbing that and moving ahead. So those are the kinds of things we look for, and that takes us usually, if it's a new library we haven't used it before, it might take us a week or so, but there's a concept that we'll use on a lot of projects all the time, because those are very good ways to speed up development. In fact, we contribute to some libraries ourselves as well. Yes?
Yeah, quick question. I wanted to ask you about if you have any kind of experience, success, or challenges with I would call maybe a short-term application. I'm in the corporate meetings and event industry, and if someone's hosting a conference in a separate city and they want to connect about 1,200 users to a mobile site, just kind of inform them about breakout sessions, points of interest, update them on whatever events are a mobile conference. Have you worked on anything similar to that?
We actually built one for CodeMash. It's called MobiMash that we use there. It was a big plus. We've updated it 2 years in a row. There are now some commercial offerings that do that. There's a company called Falafel Software that builds apps for running conferences, and will push schedules and push schedule changes out to everybody who installs the app and attends the conference. Right? There's another one whose name escapes me that did a lot of the ones for Strange Loop. And I can't think of the name of that one right now. If you give me a card, I can look both of those up because I have them on another machine. But there are definitely solutions already out there for that purpose. And it works great. It's a great way to not have the paper. It's a great way to push changes out to attendees. Yeah, so that's definitely one market for mobile apps.
Next question. Raise your hand.
All right, this is a little tough because the question relates to either a simple or complex. But what type of resources go into creating an app? Time, dollars,
Okay.
a general idea, please.
What kind of resources go into creating an app? It depends. You know, and it depends on three different things. What assets you already have that can be leveraged to make an app. Okay. So one of the very, very smart things Microsoft did with Windows 8, for example, is you can create apps for Windows 8 that are built using HTML5 and JavaScript. Which means if you have a very modern website, you're probably most of the way there already. Another way to do that is something called PhoneGap, which now Adobe is marketing under the name Cordova, which is another tool that allows you to take and leverage assets you already have for the web, put them on a variety of different phones. Okay, so that's a very quick way to do it. And in many cases, that is the correct way and best way to do it. It also depends really on how much it's done. We've written apps that are in the App Store that have taken us less than a week. Right? They do relatively simple things. We have also seen and worked on apps that take as much as 4 people and 6 months. Okay? So it really, really depends. There is a huge variety there. On average, you can probably get a good, solid app out there for under $50,000, probably on a couple platforms. You can get a I want to be the market leader in this category app out there for maybe $150,000, $200,000. And I probably wouldn't make that second one that initial investment. I would want to get something out there, learn some things, and then grow that app. But you can definitely get in the marketplace with some presence that does something for $50,000 or less. And let's get started. Now, I should add, in addition to developers, you're going to want some artists and some creative people because you really want it to look good. You want people to visit it.
Okay, do you think that there's always, making an app is always the answer? Or do you think just making mobile sites for certain people is a better option? Because I don't think that having an app for everybody is always the answer.
I would agree with you. I don't think having an app for everybody is the answer. Now, it depends on what you're doing, what you're trying to get people to do, and how sticky you want it to be. Okay, there was a study CompuWare did that they released, I think, a week and a half ago that said basically that 85% of people prefer an app to a website on mobile devices. Okay, sure. But it depends on what you're doing. So, like I gave the example of the Free Press and the news earlier. They are probably better off with a great mobile presence for their website rather than an app. Right? Now, the advantages of an app, so for a media property, one of the apps that I have is for The Economist, because I can read it on planes then, especially small planes that don't have Wi-Fi. For a lot of other media properties, a mobile-friendly website is much, much better, because I'll be searching for it, I'll find it, I can read it on my phone, and I'm much happier.
Do you do that as well? Make those sites as well? Or just
Yes, absolutely. So it depends on what you're trying to get, how much stickiness you want, how much you want for an offline story is another part of having an app. Okay, so some of the applications I run that are more app style, I can do a lot of work offline, and then when I get to a place where I can connect to a network, then all my data will sync. Okay? If I need to be online all the time, a mobile website is probably a smarter answer. But no, there's definitely not one cut and dried answer. It depends on a lot of different things. But you need specific capabilities of a device. That might lead more toward an app. The performance characteristics. An app is going to be a little faster, but you'll only care for certain operations. And a lot of them, mobile websites fast enough. So it really depends. It's got a question as well, but go ahead.
Is there a way, this is kind of far-fetched, but is there a way to put a remessaging pixel on an app to then be retargeted to a mobile site?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Say that again.
Okay, so is there a way to put some type of remessaging pixel? So for example, on Amazon, if someone goes in there and selects a product and puts that into their cart but don't make any actual action to it, and they then be remessaged on
maybe a different app or a mobile site of some sort for that, like an interstitial ad that pops up for that product, kind of like they do on computers. Is that possible?
Sure. Yes. And that gets to the fact that most every app we write also contains code that runs on servers in the cloud. And you would leverage that to be able to provide that kind of functionality, right? So a couple great examples of companies that do this really, really well. Netflix is one. You know, if I watch something on my phone and I get partway through it, and then I go home, not to my office, but home, and I power up the Netflix website, it will know where I was, right? But I have to have that kind of relationship where they know it's me because I'm logged in or things like that, but yes, they can do that. They can get better too, and I'll point out one of the annoying things with Amazon, it's still sending me ads for things I've already bought 3 months ago because they knew I was shopping for them. It's like, okay, dude, you're done, move on. But yeah, you can definitely do that. There are things you can do. Now, apps also have a couple interesting things that relate to government regulation in terms of watching that. Okay? And it relates to getting your app into the store correctly. So, if you are doing things like that, you have to have a privacy policy that tells users what you're doing, right? Otherwise, you will probably get kicked out of most of the app stores. And if you're doing anything like that, you really have to publicly say, you know, I'm a shopping app. I'm keeping track of what you're shopping for so I can give you a better experience, right? And most users will accept that. Now, where you also do run into some very, very interesting problems and you have to be extremely careful is the U.S. government in particular is very concerned about marketing to people who are children, okay? And you will get in a world of hurt if you have an app that is designed for the 13 and under set and includes a lot of marketing tracking information. You have to be extremely careful about that. There have been some very bad citizens that did some kind of nasty things, and there's some groups, industry groups that are trying to get reasonable regulations on that, but there's definitely a backlash on that. And if you are doing anything and your market is that 13 and under set, you know, when we run into an educational software, you have to be extremely careful how you market to that group.
I think we have time for one more quick question. We got a couple minutes. Was there one up here or no? It's back to Jim? Okay. Quick.
I know we're still trying to pin you down on price. But let's just say I've got a client, they have a nice website, but it's not mobile friendly. So we're not talking about an app, right? But we're talking about what I'm going to call mobile brochureware.
Yeah.
You know, what can I help? I'm not the coder, I'm the marketer, I kind of help the intermediary. How can I help them?
Have costs.
Yeah, I mean, but
Or me, or Derek.
What's the expectation around, you know, it's not 50 grand now, but it's probably not 500 either.
Right. Yeah, it's going to depend on what it was built with and the number of pages.
And part of my scenario is it's a basic brochureware, right?
Sure.
The home page and 5 sub-pages. It's not, you know, it's right.
And this is where I'm saying it really depends. So if it was all built with static HTML and it's all type, then you have to rip it apart and add some code that runs that says, oh, I now know what kind of device this is on. So you have to rip everything apart. And I'm sorry, but that's the only way you can add the logic and go, oh, my request came from a phone. Oh, my request came from a desktop. Okay? If you're already using adaptive styling, then it's pretty easy. You know, so if you're already, and you know, there's tools that make it pretty easy. So you know, I really hate to give them.
No, I understand. I'm just trying to get.
And I would say, you know, once again, it's probably not a big expense. You know, you could be looking at a week, 2 weeks worth of work, or you may be looking at more. It depends on what you're doing. But we're looking at it a little bit. I really hate to put a number on it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Good stuff. So let's give Bill a round of applause. Thank you, Bill. You are a wealth of mobile app information, and that was very interesting.
Oh, and since I plugged the event anyway, 2 of our developers are speaking at Moby Dev Day one on 3D graphics on Droid, and the other on adaptive layouts in iOS.
right? Great. Who's going to Moby Dev Day? It's in here. Okay. The Moby Dev guys. There's a posse of them here. I actually run social media for the event, so all right, good. Yeah, I kind of want to go. I don't know. I didn't sign up yet. But anyway, so now we go around the room and introduce yourselves. So we're going to ask you to stand up and give your name and your company and real quick about yourself, and then pass the mic to your friend, and we'll get all the way around the room in just a few minutes. We're going to start up front.
All right, testing.
Shirt is off. Turn back around here.
All right, my name is Ian Jones. I'm from Encode Media Works. We have an office here in Detroit, Michigan, as well as representation in New York, California, Atlanta, and Toronto. We specialize in mobile app development and coding and design, as well as commercials, brochures, print, et cetera, et cetera. So that's also why I'm here, to also keep the tools sharp and just see if anyone needs some further assistance or services. So I'm glad to be here, and nice group here today, and great speakers too. So that being said,
my name is John Matos. I'm a graduate from Washington State University. This summer I'm going to be having the wonderful opportunity to do an internship at Mechanics with Derek. So I'm very excited for this opportunity, and I'm originally from Brazil, but my home here is Saline and Arbor area, and I love social media, and I just came here to network, meet people, and find great information. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Amy Ma.
My name is Michael Kavickel. I work for a manufacturer called Trinic, and I came here to learn a little bit more about mobile apps and like some business cards because I'm looking for some assistance.
Tom Crawford. I run a mobile app development business called Mobile Bytes. If you are looking for a good deal on a cheap drink, there are 4 happy hours within walking distance of here right now, and you can find that out on Happy Hour Deals for iPhone. And also just released a new app today called Bodies and Beats that is a video mixer where you can live mix 3 high-def videos and play with them and make different music and sounds and things. So it's called Bodies and Beats for iPhone.
Hi, I'm Dave Cozio. I'm part of the Mobile Posse up here. I run a company called Arbor Software. We specialize in mobile development. We have been building mobile apps since way before it was cool. We have at least 4 apps that have been top 5 apps in the iTunes store. We've worked on multi-million-dollar apps in terms of gross revenue. So we have done mobile very, very deep. And recently we've been expanding to do more. We now do mobile strategy, and Keith Bourne, who works for us, is mobile strategist for the state of Michigan.
That's me, I'm Keith Bourne. Also, as part of this effort, we run Mobile Monday in Arbor. So if you're interested in mobile, we do, it's the first Monday of every month up at Spark here, just around the corner. So this coming Monday is the first Monday of May. So we'll be doing something this time. It's on in-app purchase on iOS. So if you have an app and you want to monetize it, in-app purchase is a big way to do that. So that's what we'll be talking about. But I encourage you to come down, check out Mobile Monday on Meetup, and see which topics relate to what you're doing. Thanks.
Scott Joseph from Ann Arbor Spark. I'm a talent leader there.
I'm Jordan Lansford, and I'm the talent intern with Ann Arbor Spark.
Hi everybody, my name is Jim Uzio, and I have a company called 5522 Tech, and we help companies and entrepreneurs determine whether they need a mobile app or a web app, and help with social media and search engine as well.
Hi everybody, I'm Stacy. I'm the other end of all this. I'm the paper girl. So, as Tom knows, to go with his awesome app, which I love, he needed little cards to hand out so everybody would get his app. That's me.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Lewis, and I'm a graphic designer and a website and local here. So, good to meet everybody. This was a great event. The speaker was amazing, so thank you, LA2M.
Hi, Jane Delancey of Delancey Design, Creative Solutions for Marketing. So if you have a marketing problem, you've got a marketing solution.
Hi, I'm Chris Ponder. I have a company that does software integration in the hospitals. So I teach doctors how to use all this technology. And then I run an art collective out of Detroit.
Hi, Bob Shannon. I'm a CPA in the Ann Arbor area, and I specialize in helping small businesses set up, keep their books on track, and their tax books on track as well.
How you doing? I'm Troy Springer. I have a company called Corporate Production Services. We help our customers communicate better with their customers, their employees, and other stakeholders through corporate meetings and events, all live. Thank you.
My name is Eric Jackson, actually business partners with Troy Springer. We're here also looking today to help expand our services to our corporate clientele. We're thinking a lot of our customers and are leaning more towards these web apps and these for their conferences. So looking to expand our services and provide an application service for them. So please come up to us and talk to us about what you guys do.
My name is Lindsay Mumper. I work for Digital First Media. Y'all might be more familiar with Oakland Press, Macomb Daily, but I'm focused on the digital side of things. So my team specifically, primarily, is focused on the digital landscape.
Hi, my name is Jordan. I help out with marketing for Dexter Builders. And last week we had our home remodeling tour. So if any of you made it out, thanks. We had a really great turnout. And it was really fun, so appreciate it if anybody did come out.
Hi, I'm Nancy Fairley. I am a creative marketing consultant for several manufacturers in Jackson that have been questioning if they should do an app or not. But thank you, I've gained a lot of great knowledge today.
Hi, I'm Mike Nato. I'm with a company called Affordable Computers here in town, over on South Industrial. We sell and repair the equipment that you're using for these kinds of applications.
Hi, my name is Kelsey Treview, and I'm an interactive designer for a new startup called Wantify. So I am basically in the process of redesigning their app, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to learn a little bit more. So thank you.
Hello, I'm Sam Patel. I'm an engineer in real estate, and until today I thought I knew something about mobile apps. I do know Bill, and I'm very glad to meet you today.
My name is Justin Gibson over at Sandler Training here in Ann Arbor, and what we do is help companies optimize sales process through long-term training, coaching, consulting, and so forth. A couple of our clients are actually in the room right now, but we have a luncheon coming up on Friday for business owners on sales process and so forth. So if you're interested, let me know. Otherwise,
Taylor McCollum with Early Stage Partners for a local venture capital fund.
Hi, my name is Janet Wilforth, and I work at the University of Michigan, but through that work I've developed a product that makes anesthetizing mice and rats safer for people. And I think I may have sold my first product. So I'm here today because I've had a lot of help over the years. I've been coming to these meetings for about 3 years now, and I really would like somebody to take a look at my manual, instructions and manual. If there's anybody in there that might be able to help with that, I'd sure appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Ms. Rabick. I'm a marketing analyst and product manager, and I help companies with their sales and branding. I actually do have an ask today. I was wondering if anybody's taken any of Washtenaw Community College's e-marketing certificate classes, and if you have, I'd love to hear about your experiences.
I'm Roger Rayle. I'm a venture catalyst. I help with a lot of the networking groups around, do a lot of live streaming, recording of video. I'll be at Detroit New Tech tonight and Concentrate Media's speaker event, exit interview tomorrow at Beezy's, or not at Beezy's, at Woodruff's in Ypsi. I started a video meetup group, Ann Arbor Video Interest Group. Our 5th meeting is next Wednesday, a week from today. Anybody interested in video, you can go to a2vig.org and learn about it and RSVP and sign up. And that's about it.
Hi, I'm Erin O'Neill. I'm a content producer at Ingenix Digital Marketing and one of the LA2M live tweeters.
Hi, my name is Lauren Schneider. I'm also one of the LA2M live tweeters, and I also work at Ingenix Digital Marketing as a social media coordinator.
Hello, hello. I'm Ashley Frashoni. I'm the account manager at Ingenex, and I also am helping with Moby.Biz social stuff. You can, Derek, buy tickets through Friday if you're interested. So our mobile will be lovely.
Hi, I'm Mary Lou with LA2M. Thanks for coming out, and thanks again to our speaker, Bill. That was really a lot of really good information. Very, very dense with so many different things that people can really benefit from hearing about. So, thank you much.
Hi, I'm Kurt Sherlin from Arbor Studios, and I'm a commercial editorial portrait photographer, and pictures that they use meetings both on our Facebook page, group's Facebook page.
Thanks, Carter. We gotta take a picture of you. You look good in that LA2M shirt. We'll give me the camera later. But yeah, Derek Marabin, I run that company called Ingenex Digital Marketing. And we do some mobile stuff, but we often will bring in like expert engineers. You know, like we work with SRT or we work with Tom Crawford a lot on apps. Speaking of apps, does everyone have the LA2M app? Right? You gotta have that. Well, it's only available on iPhone. But next week on the LA2M app, supposedly we have this Dane Jackson from the Whole Brain Group talking about aligning your marketing budget with company goals. Sounds pretty good. I don't know if he's going to be the top today's speaker. And let's give today's speaker, Bill, one of the rest of them. Thanks everybody for coming. We couldn't do it without you. Go out and make some money. Have a great week. All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks.